Hey, Renee Joe here, and this is 1000 Reviews, the series where I plan on reviewing every single album from the 1001 albums to listen to before you die book. And today we're doing Elvis Costello's 1978 record, This Year's Model. This Year's Model was released underneath the Radar label, produced by Nick Lowe with art direction from Barney Bubbles, nationality UK, and a running time of 39 minutes and 20 seconds. And with a runtime of 40 minutes, this album has 13 songs. So let's just jump right into the first track, No Action. Listen to the rest. Not a huge fan of his singing per se, but I do like the lyrics so far, especially with the line, "Every time I phone you, I just want to put you down," implying a little bit of double entendre there, a little bit of irony in a sense, which I do enjoy the lyrical talent there. I like that song. Good opener. Very much a new wave sound, clearly, and overall it's pretty good with the first track. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for the first track. On to the second song, This Year's Girl, which according to Costello in his autobiography, everything in this song is about how the way men see women and what they desire from them. If there's a lie being told, then it is the one that a girl might be prepared to live or tell in order to live up to some false ideal of attraction. This song allegedly hints towards the darkness and abuse behind the industry of fame, particularly for women, which makes it kind of an intriguing sort of theme. Let's just jump right into it. I already like it instrumentally for the first. Clearly a much more feminist-focused track, which I'm digging so far, and feels kind of progressive for the time, 1978, really bringing some issues to light. Only she's forgot all this, but no surprises for this year's girl. Yeah. The final line, all this, but no surprises for this year's girl. I also quite enjoy lyrically, pretty much representing the fact that what media creates in these women is essentially the same thing over and over, and is always just a replica, never being truly unique, which, you know, bold take to take in the year of this release. This Year's Girl gets a 9 out of 10. Instrumentally, vocally, thematically, love this track. Like it more than the opener. However, I still like the opener. I just gotta say, This Year's Girl is very promising so far for this album. On to the third song, The Beat. We're all going on a summer holiday. Vigilantes coming out to fall. I'm gonna take back what I said. I actually like his voice, so that grew on me quick. The way he uses voice inflections specifically, I actually enjoy. Not something I talk about much on this channel, but maybe I should talk about more, is that style is more important than a good singing voice, if that makes sense. And I think Elvis Costello understands that, kind of in the same way David Byrne understood that with Talking Heads. I think Elvis gets that because, you know, vocally not the most talented singer, but stylistically definitely interesting and stands out. So for that, that's very promising. Lots of wordplay as well from Elvis, I've noticed already so far, which is always fun in any song. The beat, good track. enjoyable. Not much more to say than what I've already said. 7.5 out of 10 is how I'm feeling on that one. On to the next track, Pump It Up, the most popular on here, and I believe Elvis Costello's most popular song too. Yep, with 36 million monthly listenings. Not monthly listenings, 36 million total streams at the time of recording this. So, Pump It Up. I've heard it before. It's a jam. Like right out the gate with that drumming. Just really taking control of the track and just so much oomph to it, so much power. Great song straight from the beginning. Again, more double entendres from the man himself. Very sexually driven, clearly. Reading into these lyrics, Elvis Costello, a little bit of a submissive, eh? 9 out of 10. Little Triggers is another sexually suggestive track, which, you know, going by the theme of this album, seems to be a common thread here. The way his voice sort of croaks at the end of that line there. It's the little things. Again, those backup vocals are gorgeous, really adding a lot of texture to the track here, layered in quite nicely. Honestly, the production on this album so far has been superb. I feel like everything is mixed so well into just each channel here. Not as upbeat as the other tracks, but a pretty good, enjoyable slow track here, continuing the themes of a sexual heaviness to an extent. I would go ahead and give this track a 7 out of 10. Still liked it a lot. We're now on to the 6th track, You Belong to Me. Honestly, not digging this song as much, just not vibing with it, I guess one would say. I don't know. Something's off in this one. I'm going to give that one a 6 out of 10. It's catchy, but not much else. Personally, so far the weakest track so far is You Belong to Me. On to the 7th, Hand in Hand. Just want to point out that most of these tracks are not even reaching, actually not a single track here, reaching 4 minutes, which means most of this album has some very snappy, quick, direct, upbeat tracks, which is definitely a plus for new wave or just pop in general. You know, the good thing about new wave is that it doesn't overstay its welcome. Very direct genre. That's an eerie intro. Love the drumming on this song, as well as the very like strummy guitar, kind of bouncing in and out almost. Is that a xylophone in the background? Am I hearing things? Is that a xylophone? Maybe that's just a piano, but it's very high pitched. Definitely piano. Whatever that is in the background, I like it a lot. I think it's a piano. I'm settling on piano. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Piano. every 70s song ever, it has a fade out. This song is pretty enjoyable. Loved it. Very upbeat. I clearly was hung up on that piano. Don't know what it was, but I liked it. I'm going to go ahead and give this 9 out of 10. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Next is I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea. Right off the bat, I gotta say, the drumming's brilliant. The production is brilliant. This is already starting off great and proving why this album is so fantastic. The band backing up Elvis Costello is just so strong and complements him so greatly. I feel like this chorus sort of offsets your expectations in a way. I kind of thought it was going to be much more upbeat, but his vocals are much more toned down. But I do kind of like that it's not what you'd expect going into it. So give me a whole album of whatever that is. Beautiful. Very heavy on the synths there. I know there's tons of synth albums, but I'm saying whoever's playing here is taking the show. Has an almost like reggae tone to it, at least in this song, I would say. At least as far as the batch of songs on this year's model, I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea is somewhat reggae influenced, at least instrumentally, in my opinion. I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea gets an 8 out of 10. On to the next track, Lip Service. Another weaker track on the album, I'd say. I'm feeling pretty meh on Lip Service. Doesn't live up to most the rest of the album. I'm feeling straight down the middle with this one, to be honest with you. Not gonna bullshit it. 5 out of 10. 10th track, Living in Paradise. Go. But just like that, he turns it around. Turns it around right away. I love this opening already. Jealousy and insecurity running deep in this track. Kind of fun themes. I get the idea that he's understanding he's in a relationship that's not going to last long, so he's just kind of making the most out of it. Because clearly this girl's one who goes from guy to guy, at least from the lyrics. I think the implication is that she doesn't stick around too long. So with this girl, you are essentially living in paradise. Just having a good time. Don't make much of it. Probably my favorite song so far on this album, to be honest with you. Instrumentally, production-wise, just everything about this track is top-notch. I'm going to give that one a 9 out of 10. We're going on to the 11th track, second to last, Lipstick Vogue. Hold on. Whoever the drummer is just absolutely insane on this whole album. But this track, again, right off the bat, Pete Thomas is on the drums. Give it up for Pete Thomas on the drums, because he's really just taking the cake for this album, really just taking center stage. Why even call it Elvis Costello? You know, call it Pete Thomas. Almost a little Asian in sound. Elvis Costello feels like he's racing with the instrumental. Such an intense instrumental for this song. Did you hear that? Pete Thomas takes it away. Get to the slot machine. Almost dead on arrival. this is my favorite song.
Just hit me one more time.
Bass solo. A rarity, but always welcome. Big fan of the bass. This track's a 10. It's a 10.
Sometimes I almost feel just like a human being.
I love that line, by the way. Chef's Kiss. Lipstick Vogue gets a 10. One more track. Night Rally. This is one of the more beautifully instrumental tracks. Even though the themes of this thing seem much darker than anything else on this album. Very anti-capitalist song. I really like how heavy that gets. It's almost dizzying by the end. I kind of like that. It's like a siren. I like that abrupt finish to the album, the way it just cuts off. Doesn't really warn you at all. I love just the whole thing about Night Rally is fantastic as a closing track. Give that one a 9 out of 10. All in all, this is a pretty fantastic album. There's a lot here to really dive into. The wordplay throughout this album is brilliant. The themes of sexuality, of the industry, of anti-capitalism, of feminism is all balanced quite evenly throughout these 12 tracks. And the production as well on this whole thing is just so clean and so crisp. Nothing here feels out of place, and it is all mixed in a way that feels very balanced. I just love the way certain things are mixed more to one side than the other in a very smooth way. Nothing feels jarring or out of place, and overall it is a incredibly strong album from start to finish. The weakest track would be Lip Service for me personally, but even with that being the weakest track, that's just because as a personal preference, I don't enjoy it as much as the rest. However, I still think in terms of its production and Elvis's singing, it's still all on point. So I won't really hold it too much against it. Another thing I want to note is Pete Thomas's drumming is amazing on this. He is really just taking center stage for some of these tracks, especially on Lipstick Vogue. He is just the powerhouse of that track, the powerhouse of the cell, one might say. He is clearly the heavy hitter. Really, when it comes to negatives for this album, I don't have much negative to say. The soft rating of this album, when added up, came to a 8 out of 10. However, given the impact that this album clearly has on New Wave and a lot of artists going forward, as this was released in 78 when New Wave was just starting to take off, it's very clear the impact that this had. And I mean, this came out around the time Talking Heads were just starting out, and I would say that this is on par, if not better, than some of Talking Heads' work as well, which in my opinion they're pretty much the kings of New Wave. And it's very clear that there is some influence shed onto them from this release. And with that being said, I'll adjust the hard rating to an 8.5 out of 10. I don't personally think it's perfect, but I still think there is so much here to be appreciated from start to finish. On top of that, I also would say that this thing, in terms of its release up till now, does not feel dated. There is just so much here that still feels relevant today thematically, and on top of that, the instrumental and artistic approach is just as strong as it was upon release. So again, Not a dated record either, which is always a huge plus. I will also go ahead and say that this is an essential listen, especially for new wave listeners. This is definitely a must listen, and I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely one I will come back to time and time again. Anyways, that pretty much does it for this review / reaction. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hit subscribe if you want to follow along in more videos similar to this one. Let's go ahead and see what the next album we are listening to is in the 1001 Albums to Listen to Before You Die book. 1 to 1001. Generate. 39 is the number we got. 39 being Charles Mingus's The Black Saint and the Sinner Lady. To be honest, I've been wanting to listen to Mingus for a while. I've heard many good things. That pretty much does it for this video, so thank you for watching. If you like, please hit like and subscribe if you want to follow along and listen to every single album from the 1001 Albums to Listen to Before You Die book. And as always, my name is Randy Joe, and I'm signing off. Hey, Randy Joe here, and this is 1000 Reviews, a series where I plan on reviewing every single album from the 1001 Albums to Listen to Before You Die book. And as always, my name is Randy Joe, and I fucked up that intro entirely.